beautiful children. I've got my t-shirt on. It's really good to see you. In my mind's eye, Parashat Vayeshev. Here we come. Ready? Rolling back the time. Careful not to knock my hat off. And once more, rolling back the time. And one more, rolling back the time. And thinking and thinking and thinking. Parashat Vayeshev usually is the Shabbat before Hanukkah, but because this year, Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, fell on Shabbat, it coincides. It's at the same time. So we're at Hanukkah. Yoo-hoo! Okay. There are 12 parts to this week's Parashah for me. So let's see if we can do them. I'm not sure if I can do it quickly, but I'm going to do my best. Number 1, Joseph's coat. There are 12 brothers. Joseph is the favourite for his daddy, and that's going to cause a lot of trouble with his brothers who are going to get very jealous. Number 2, the corn dream. Number 3, the sun, the moon, and the stars dream. Number 4, a bunch of jealous brothers, not including one brother called Binyamin. He's not going to be jealous of Joseph because they came from the same mummy. Number 5, a decision. What are they going to do about it, the brothers? Number 6, the decision involves a pit. Number 7, Joseph is sold. My goodness, that is quite drastic. Never, ever is this going to happen to anybody in their family. This is a story that we learn in the Torah. It's meant to teach us something. It's not something that we ever, ever, ever are going to replicate in our families. Number 8, Jacob's coat is dipped in a goat. Number 9, Joseph runs away from a lady called Potiphar, Mrs. Potiphar. Okay, number 10, there is a baker and a butler on the loose. Well, actually, they're not on the loose. They're in prison, but I'm going to tell you all about that. Number 11, there is a dream that both the baker and the butler have. And number 12, there just so happens that Joseph is able to interpret the dreams. So, number 1, Jacob loves Joseph the most and makes him a coat of many colours. V'Yisrael, don't forget Jacob's name is Yisrael. Ahavet Yosef mikol banav v'asalo kotenet pasim. He made for him a coat of many colours. SPS, some people say, aka also known as the Midrash, even including purple, which was the most expensive colour. The dreams begin. Joseph says, I had a dream. Not sure how it might seem. In his dream, there are stalks of corn, probably, because of course in those days everything was around animals and farmland. Okay? The stalks, Joseph is bundling his stalk together. He's tying up his stalks of grain. Joseph's bundle rises in the air, and how convenient, the other bundles all bow down to him. Hey brothers, what do you reckon about that then? Well, I can tell you what they reckon. They don't like it, and they get more and more and more angry with Joseph. Now, Joseph is 17. It could be that he's young. It could be that he's naive. It could be that he loves his hair. It could be that he's not really knowing how to deal with his brothers properly. We're not sure. It might be he's a know-it-all. It might be that he's interfering. It might be that he thinks he's doing best. But maybe it would be better to share with your brothers if you think they're doing wrong, rather than go running to your father each time. Mainly it was Bilhah and Zilpah's brothers, but of course Leah's brothers also wanted to all join together, because don't forget, children, if you are the favourite son and you're meant to be carrying on the Jewish tradition, the other sons don't seem to get very much involved. So, for example, Ishmael obviously left. He left, and Esau also is not continuing the tradition. So maybe, I don't know, SPS, some people say, aka also known as the Midrash, maybe the brothers were worried about that. They shouldn't have been, but maybe they were. Number 3, the moon, the sun, and the stars in Joseph's dream. Okay, so what's that about? I had a dream Not sure how it might seem, but this time it's even worse. Oh, Joseph, not only did you tell the brothers you were so excited, maybe it was dinner time and you were having your spaghetti or whatever you were having, and you said, guess what, Daddy? I had a dream, and in my dream, the sun and the moon and the stars in the sky all surrounded me, 11 stars in the sky, smaller than me, of course, my star was the biggest, and they all bowed down to me. Now, Yaakov was very, very clever, and he knew that something was afoot, something was going to happen with Joseph, but he didn't want to show in front of Joseph's brothers to make it worse for Joseph. So in front of the brothers, he reprimanded him. He told him off. He rebuked him. He said, what do you think? Your mother, who's no longer with us, is going to come and bow down to us? Because Rachel had gone back to Hashem when she gave birth to Binyamin. But in his head, Jacob thought on the matter. He wanted to wait and see what was going to happen. So what have we got? We have got some very jealous brothers who have had enough. Vayekanu bo'echav v'aviv shamar sadavar. While the brothers were getting more and more jealous, Yaakov was thinking and thinking and thinking about what was going to happen. Okay, decision time. Number 5, decision time. Joseph's brothers decide to take action against Joseph. Joseph was minding his own business on his own. His brothers had gone to Shechem, maybe watching the flocks, and Jacob called him. Joseph, I'd like you to go to Shechem and make sure your brothers are okay. Because in last week's Parsha, actually, the brothers had to do something to the people of Shechem to get Dinah back. Okay, Daddy, I'm ready to do whatever you want. I can spy trouble on the way. Joseph diligently goes down to Shechem, just as his daddy has told him. And when he's in Shechem, he's sort of wandering around trying to find his brothers, and he stumbles across a man who happens to be an angel, SPS, some people say, called Gabriel, who says, who are you looking for, young man? He says, well, actually, I'm looking for my brothers. And Gabriel says, okay, Gabriel says, they're in Dosan, you need to go a little bit further on. And of course, Joseph locates them, and Uveterem yikrav elehem v'yitnaplu oto la'amiso. Before he'd even got to see them face to face, they'd already decided they were going to deal with him. That sounds good. So who said what? Well, SPS, some people say, Shimon and Levi said, right, get rid of him, say a wild animal's got him, and we never have to worry about him again. Reuven, the oldest son, who usually is too spontaneous, sometimes it's good, I'm very spontaneous, I like to do things on the spur of the moment, just do it, just go for it. Not always the best way, sometimes it's wonderful. Reuven has learnt, hang on, step right back, hang on, look, let's not hurt him. Let's put him in a pit. We can decide what to do later. And Reuven goes off to do his business and thinks he's going to be able to come back and save him. I'm not sure if this is upside down or not, so I'm going to show it both ways to you. Okay, so Reuven thinks it's fine. He's left Joseph in a pit with no water. I mean, it's not fine, and it's really a horrible, horrible thing to do. But at least it hasn't physically hurt him, or so Reuven thinks. But unfortunately, along came a caravan of Yishmaelim, so it's kind of family. And instead of having tar, kerosene, sort of like petrol oil that's very smelly and stinky in their caravan, they're actually carrying spices, beautiful smelling, fragrant spices like balsam and lotus. Now, I don't know about you, and I definitely don't have much of it, but I mean, maybe it wouldn't be so bad to be in a caravan full of lotus cookies, which you usually have for Kiddush, and the lotus spread, which you could put on your bread. I suppose it wouldn't be that bad. Not that I'm saying we want to do it, but at least it's not a stinky caravan. And Yehuda gets up, who's going to get a chance to do Teshuvah coming up. But in this week's Parsha, Yehuda gets up and says, we'll sell him to you. How terrible to sell your brother. And Reuven's not there. Of course, Binyamin is not there. He's probably safe with his daddy. Oh my goodness. For how many pieces of silver are you going to sell Joseph? You've taken his coat of colours off. You've taken his undercoat off. You're going to sell him now for 20 pieces of silver. I don't know what to say. Do you know what to say? I don't know what to say. I'm really disappointed. But whatever happens, as bad as it seems, Hashem has obviously decided that there is a purpose to this. Because Joseph obviously needs to leave Eretz Canaan. He needs to leave the land of Israel to go to another land, because the Jewish people are also going to have to go down there. Crazy, but true. Okay, so Reuven comes back and is horrified. They have no choice. Back to the original plan, which is to dip Joseph's coat into a goat and show it to Jacob. And Jacob says, Vayamer, he says, Kasones beni. This is the coat of my son. A wild animal must have torn him to pieces. And Joseph then goes into mourning for 22 years, and he puts his sackcloth off. And SPS, some people say, aka also known as the Medrash, that the fact that he never gets over the grief of Joseph is proof that Joseph didn't really die. But of course, the brothers, maybe SPS, some people say, aka also known as the Medrash, have a promise that they will never tell what they did, and so they can never tell their father. And Joseph, who gets to go to another country, is never able also to send word to his father to tell him that he's not hurt. Next one, Mrs. Potiphar and the chasing game. Now, it just so happens that Joseph ends up being traded again by the Ishmaelim. The Midianim take him out of the pit. The Ishmaelim take him on their caravan with lotus spread, maybe, and balsam. And they go to Egypt and they trade him again to the big meaty man, not the sweetie man, the meaty man. And the meaty man is really very important in command under Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And quickly appoints Joseph to be his right-hand man. He gives Joseph lots and lots and lots of jobs to do. And Joseph has more and more responsibility. He's able to take on more and more and more jobs. And Potiphar is very proud of him and says, actually, you know what? You can have anything. Ki im halechem. You can't touch the bread, because the Egyptians and Hebrews didn't like to eat together or share bread. Or SPS, some people say, Mrs. Potiphar, she has to be left alone. You may not bother her at all, but apart from that, you can do whatever you like. Mrs. Potiphar thought, I want to catch Joseph out. And so she waits until everybody is out the house. And then she's, right, I'm going to catch you. No. And Joseph's going, no, I've got my job to do. Please leave me alone, Mrs. Potiphar. You're meant to be left by yourself. Please, Mrs. Potiphar. But she doesn't listen. And she runs and she catches his coat. Not the coat of many colours, because he didn't have that anymore. And she pulls it off him. And then she goes, help, help, help. Joseph was going to hurt me. Oh, liar, pants on fire. That's not true. Joseph didn't do anything to you. You were the naughty one. You were bothering him. You chased after him. But what's Mr. Potiphar to do? He warned Joseph. Well, I'm afraid, Joseph, I'm going to have to arrest you and put you in a prison. But I think it was a special sort of aristocratic prison. I think it was a special noble prison where very important people went. I mean, I don't know, but I hope so. And Joseph's put there, and he was completely innocent. He didn't do anything. Goodness, could this story get any worse? Right. Well, in this prison, there are very important people. There is a baker and a butler who are chief to Pharaoh. Very important people, probably. But unfortunately, Pharaoh got a little bit cross with them. And they're both in prison. Let's start with dreams. We did some dreams. We've got some more dreams. Let's see if Joseph can understand them. The butler decides to tell his dream first to Joseph. I had a dream. Don't know how it might seem. So Joseph makes clear that only Hashem explains dreams, but go on, tell me, what was your dream? He said, well, I had 3 grapevines, squeezing the grapevines into the cup of Pharaoh. And Joseph said, easy peasy lemon squeezy, 3 days time, Pharaoh's birthday, you're going to be reappointed as butler. Hooray! Don't forget me, remember me to Pharaoh. Maybe Joseph shouldn't have asked for this, but he was 17, maybe he's still got a way to learn, and he is going to be very, very special and a huge tzaddik, so just rely on him to get things right in the end. Baker looks around and thinks, okay, well that went well, I think I'm going to tell my dream. Joseph says, okay, again, it's Hashem that determines the dreams, but by all means, tell me your dream. I had a dream, not sure how it might seem. So in this dream, the baker has 3 baskets that he's holding, and the top basket has the king's bread, Pharaoh's bread, but birds are swooping down on the basket. Okay, we don't do freaky deaky for the reception to year 2s or 4 to 7s, so I'm just going to say that Joseph said, I'm really sorry, matey, but your dream is not a good dream. In 3 days' time, you will not be working again for Pharaoh, and I'm afraid there will be no more you. Goodness. Okay. But Joseph has said to the butler, please remember me to Pharaoh. Please don't forget me. So that was everything in this week's Parashat. Joseph, the coat of many colours, you can tell everybody about it. The corn dream, you know all about it. The sun, the moon and the stars, you know that too. The jealous brothers, not a problem for you. The decision. The pit. Joseph being sold. Jacob sees the coat of Joseph. Joseph runs away from Potiphar. The butler and the baker. And Joseph explaining the dreams. I hope to see you again very soon. It's going to take some time, but in the meanwhile, I hope you enjoy my videos. Okay. Listen to your mummies and daddies and do what they say. Listen to your mummies and daddies and don't forget to pray. Listen to your mummies and daddies, our rabbis lead the way. Then they will be happy. Don't worry about a thing. Everything's going to be fine. See you again soon. Bye.